Okay, so let's do an example using these, okay? And this is what comes up. This is how they ask it. So example 1, we have the 3 ways they can tell us a function, or that they name a function, okay? So the functions f and g are defined such that your f function is this, x plus 5, and your g function is this. Okay, so we have 2 functions at the minute. Now, the first thing they want us to find is f of 3. Okay? So what we do is we write down f of x. What is f of x? It's x plus 5. I normally use this notation, girls, f of x. I don't like using the arrows. I just prefer this. So I'll always use that. Okay? You can decide which you prefer. So, I have the function f of x equals x plus 3, and I want f of 3. What's the difference between this line and this line? Instead of x, you now have 3. So over here, instead of x, you're going to put in 3. And what's 3 plus 5? 8. So, when it's written like this, this means your input is 3 into the f function. So in this case, your input is x. That's normal. This question, my input is 3. So I put in 3 instead of x, 3 instead of x. Is that alright? So that's part 1. Part 2. Part 2 wants me to find g of minus 3. G of minus 3. First thing you do, write down g of x. G of x is x squared minus 1. G of minus 3. What do I have? I have minus 3 instead of x, so put in minus 3 instead of x. That can go into your calculator, or be careful. What's minus 3 squared? Careful. 9. 9. Is it a plus or minus? Plus. Okay, minus to be squared is always a plus. So that's 9 minus 1, which is 8. So my input was minus 3, my output was 8 in the g function. Is that okay? Yeah?
Is that connected to the y equals 3x minus 2?
No, this is just how you write functions. So the 3 different ways you can have notation for functions.
Then where are you getting the 3?
Which 3?
The f.
That's the question. Find part 1. The question is find f of 3. They gave me that in the book. They also gave me g of minus 3. Okay? They're going to give me a few more now. Okay, so the next part to this, part 3. Are you say that again? Are you using a phone or calculator? And you have the square outside the bracket. Your calculator will make a mistake if you don't. You okay? Okay, let's do part 3 of this. We're using the same two functions here. Find f of 2k. F of 2k. So I have to write down my f of x, write down my function. Instead of x, what do I have? 2k. So instead of x over here, what are you going to put in? 2k. That's it, can't do anything with that. Okay, what about f of k plus 1? What function are we using? F. So let's write down f of x is x plus 5. Always go back to the function. F of k plus 1 would be what? Okay, so instead of x, I now have k plus 1. So instead of x, I need to do k plus 1 plus 5. Okay, because that little bit is your x, which is k plus 6. Excellent. Any issues there? Let's keep going. Part B. They want this time g of 3k. What function do I go to? G, and I write it down. Now g of x is x squared minus 1. G of 3k, what do I do?
3k squared.
Brilliant. 3k to be squared minus 1. Excellent. Has to go into brackets. Now 3k to be squared. What's 3k by 3k? 9k squared. 3k by 3k is 9k squared minus 1. Okay? And last one. G of k plus 1. Why did I put the square here?
Yeah, because you already did like 3k squared.
Yeah. So, do you see the way that square is just next to the k? That means it's just k to be squared. Otherwise, it would be written like that. And that would mean I'd have to square the 9 and square the k. But when it's just written like that, it means, okay, the 9 is just 9. The k is squared. Okay? Come back over here to me. We want k plus 1 instead of x. So over here we're going to do k plus 1 to be squared. Can you remember how to square? It's a long time ago now, isn't it? Multiply by itself. So that's going to be k plus 1 by k plus 1. Don't forget the minus 1. Can you remember how to multiply out brackets?
First or second bracket.
So, some people do split the first, double the second, don't you? Some people do first number, second bracket, second number, second bracket. Whichever way your teacher taught you last year, totally up to you. So, it would be split, first number goes with the second bracket, second number goes with the second bracket. Don't forget the minus 1. K squared plus k plus 1 minus 1. Okay, and just tidying it up, you get k squared plus 2k.